Can you solve all these acid-base equilibria questions? NaCl is a dash.
Smart pick. Salt is the correct choice. CH3Cu is a dash. Clear logic. Your choice weak acid is sound. Aegis is a dash. On track. Salt is the correct answer. Forms the O hydroxide. Good thinking. Arrhenius base is the right answer.
An example of salt is dash.
Nice work. You chose calcium fluoride, and it is correct. Which is the weakest acid? Well picked. Heclo is the correct answer. Scale that ranges from 114. Well reasoned. pH is the correct choice. Which of these is a weak base? You chose Na, and it is correct. ZM2 is an example of a dash.
Perfect. Base is the correct choice.
Which of these is a strong acid? Nicely done. Heclo 3 is a solid answer. Accepts a proton. Well done. Bronsted-Lowry base is the right choice. A compound that donates H+ ions is... Smart move. A Bronsted-Lowry acid is an accurate answer. What is the conjugate base of Eclo4? Nice selection. Clo4-taxacid base theories is the correct and valid answer. Which of these solutions is an acid? Excellent. Tomato soup. Plesiophore is a brilliant choice. What is the conjugate acid of ECO31? Correct. Here I am is the right answer. Which of the following describes TUSA4? Sharp thinking. Strong acid is the right choice. Which of the following is not an acid? Strong choice. C2H6 is the right answer. Which of the following is not a strong base? Bravo. Fe3 is the answer. Of the following, which is the strongest acid? Excellent choice. Heclo4 is the right answer. Which would correspond to the weakest base?
Right again. 7.8 is a valid answer.
Which of these is the strongest Bronsted base? You got it. Your choice F is right. All the given are properties of a base, except... Right choice. pH 7 is the best answer. The species created when a base accepts a proton. Great job. Conjugate acid is the accurate answer. Neutralization is a reaction between acid and dash. Exactly. Base makes sense. The species left over after an acid donates a proton. Solid response. Conjugate base is a valid choice. What type of reaction occurs between an acid and a base? Valid point. Neutralization is true. Which of the following is the conjugate acid of HCO31? Good job. Here I am works well here. Which of the following is an example of an acid anhydride? You're right. Il is the correct answer. Which of the following produces the strongest conjugate base? Great thinking. ACO3 is the right choice. What is the pK of hydrocyanic acid if its K is 4.9 Correct response. 9.31 is the most accurate answer. In a dash reaction, an acid and a base produce a salt and a water. You got it. Your choice neutralization is right. The Ka for gallic acid is 4.573. What is the Kb for gallityne? Excellent choice. 2.1E12 is the right answer. Which of the following values would represent the pH of a strong base? Sharp thinking. 13 is the right choice. Which of these pKa values corresponds to the weakest acid? Well done. 5.6 is the right choice. What is the symbol that we will not find in acid-base Equilibria chapter? Right again. Chi is a valid answer. The pH at the equivalence point of the titration of a weak acid with a strong base is. Nice work. You chose 8.2 and it is correct. Classify the following as weak acid or strong acid: nitrous, hydrofluoric, hydrochloric. Valid point. Moose is true. To produce a weakly acidic solution, one must react equal molar amounts of a dash with a dash. Right choice. Strong acid, weak base is the best answer. Which particles are not present in a solution containing dilute hydrochloric acid and ethanoic acid? Nice selection. Hexyl molecule is the correct and valid answer. A type of chemical that forms solutions that taste sour due to high concentrations of positive hydrogen ions. Solid response. Acid is a valid choice. What is the conjugate acid in the following equation? Strong choice. Kpov2 is the right answer. What is the volume of weak base 0.1 needed to neutralize 25 ml 0.1 weak acid? Smart pick. 25 ml is the correct choice. According to the Fraiche range given in the image, which substance is more acidic than lemon juice? All. Perfect. Hydrochloric acid is the correct choice. Which of the following acids best fits the picture? Correct response. HF is the most accurate answer. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format. On track. Contact Narayan Changda is the correct answer.